Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sacramento, California, which is very close to San Francisco and to Lake Tahoe.
When did you move to Washington?
I moved when I was 18 years old, right after I graduated high school.
Why did you decide to move?
I decided to move because all my friends were going off to college. I didn't want to be in Sacramento for that much longer, honestly. I didn't think I got everything out of Sacramento, so I moved to Seattle. I visited one time and I fell in love, so I figured why not move there.
How was it like growing up in Sacramento?
Honestly, it was kind of hard because there's not a lot to do in Sacramento. Although it was an easy drive to go to any beach, it was always hard to get out of the city, and it felt very stagnant. So I needed excitement in my life, and I think everything in Washington has so much to do and so many things to see. So, and I don't think never mind.
When did you decide to move?
I pretty much moved like couple months right after I graduated. It was like 2 seconds and then I was gone. But yeah.
How did you feel about leaving your childhood city?
It was hard because I did live there my whole life, but I think I was very ready to see new things.
Did you move by yourself?
I initially did move by myself. Then a month later, my sister came up with me.
Did you move to Washington for school or work?
So I moved to Washington for school, and they wanted me to get a year of residency before I started. So I decided to take a gap year. That gap year turned into 2 years. So now I'm working. I work as a barista. That wasn't my plan at first, but I think that this is where I need to be.
What was your first job you got here in Washington?
I worked at the Bellevue Club, the first job here. I was a childcare attendant, so all the families would bring their children to the fitness club, and then I would watch them while they worked out. And then from there, I got my nannying job, and then I am a barista now.
How do you like being a barista?
I love it. I love working with customers. I love learning all the different recipes and how certain things make different coffee taste better. It's really interesting to learn about and to also work in.
Was it easy making friends coming to a new state?
Definitely not. Making friends was probably one of the hardest things I had to do. When I first started at the Bellevue Club, I was only working with little kids, so I didn't know anyone my own age, and that was why I wanted to quit. I needed to meet people that were my age, and so I applied for Cinemark, which is a movie theater, and from there I met pretty much all of my friends now. They're all my favorite people.
Do you still go back and visit Sacramento?
Yeah, I visit Sacramento pretty frequently, actually. I just went back for my dad's birthday, and I love Sacramento, so I would go all the time. I get homesick a lot too, but I do love Seattle, and I think that's where I want to be.
Are you still friends with your friends from high school?
Yeah, I keep in touch with pretty much everyone that I talked to in high school. Unfortunately, we can't see each other as often as we wish, but I do talk to them every day.
How long do you plan on staying in Washington?
I love it, so I plan on staying here for as long as I can, but I definitely want to live in more places. I would love to live in New York for at least a year in my life. I love Seattle so much though, so I think that I would stay for a good amount of time.
How do you think Seattle changed you?
I think that it's changed me for the better. I think in high school I was super insecure and I didn't really do much. I was kind of a loner. I just hung out. But now I am with friends constantly. I get to see who I am just as myself. So I think it's changed me for the better.
How often do you get to see your sister?
I try to see my sister as often as possible. She lives on the other side of the water, but it's like a 30-minute drive, so I try to see her as often as possible.
What's your favorite memory since you came into Seattle?
My favorite memory so far has just been going onto the beach with my friends. All the sunsets here are beautiful, and going to Gasworks is beautiful. You can look at the skyline and see all of Seattle. I think going to Pike Place Market is one of my favorite places to see and hang out with people. Honestly, I keep finding new things that I love about Seattle every day, so I'm excited to see what more memories I can make.
What was the worst memory about being in Seattle?
I think the worst memory has to be before I met any of my friends. It was very lonely for a long time, so it was really hard to just be by myself and figure it all out. But as soon as I met people that could help me, it became a lot easier.
How do you think Seattle changed you?
I think that it's changed me for the better. I think in high school I was super insecure and I didn't really do much. I was kind of a loner. I just hung out. But now I am with friends constantly. I get to see who I am just as myself. So I think it's changed me for the better.
How often do you get to see your sister?
I try to see my sister as often as possible. She lives on the other side of the water, but it's like a 30-minute drive, so I try to see her as often as possible.